Welcome to Network Society Ventures. My name is David Orban, and this is Network Society Ventures Pitching Live. Network Society Ventures Pitching Live gives the opportunity to startups to pitch a venture firm in a live streaming setting, a startup pitch competition of one. Here is how it works. The startup contacts Network Society Ventures with their project and sends their pitch deck. After a first selection, they are given the opportunity to pitch live, and some of them may decline because they don't want to present their idea too broadly or they feel too much pressure. Others will accept because they are ready. The session is divided in two parts. Part one is the startup running their slide presentation for 15 minutes approximately. Part two is questions from the host asking for clarifications on the presentation for an additional 15 minutes. And of course, this is live and interactive, so you, the viewers, are also welcome to chime in with relevant observations and questions. And if so, I will be able to pull in those questions and we will answer them in real time. Are you ready? Today's startup is Sabio, and here they are presenting Liliana,
Good
and
morning, David.
she brought also her wonderful team members, Claudia and Emmanuel. Welcome all.
Thank you so much for having us.
So Emmanuel and Claudia will chime in if Liliana misses anything important during her pitch or the Q&A session. But in the meantime, why don't you, Liliana, take it away, and I will have the two of us in conversation. The floor is yours. There you go. Pitch away.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure. I'm actually very excited to do a live stream because it perfectly illustrates how we at Sabio are going about and solving a very big problem. So once again, my name is Liliana Monge. I am one of the co-founders of Sabio. Currently, I'm located in Los Angeles. However, we are a national brand. And so, what do we do on a day to day basis? We strap on these headphones, we log onto our computers, and we have been setting out to solve the massive demand for technical talent that exists in the United States and actually also globally. If you think about how you begin your day, how you end your day, most of it is going to involve some type of software. And software is created by people. Therefore, currently in the United States, we are experiencing a very massive shortage of technical professionals, people who know how to create websites, web apps that drive our new day. And one of the reasons for this massive demand, there are a couple of reasons for this. There are fewer computer science grads than are needed by the economy. And this is a very big issue. If you can see here, last year in 2016, we were it indicated that we graduated 24,000 science teachers, but only 75 computer science teachers. So if you don't have enough people at the universities who are teaching the students to become software developers themselves, you're going to create a massive demand for technical talent because you have this massive need for banking, for entertainment, every single tiny thing that we're doing now, even right now, we're pitching to the world using software that was stitched together by people. And people need to learn that technology. And so that is what Sabio is about. We're approved by the state of California. We started in 2013, and we saw that there was a growing demand locally in Los Angeles at that time for software developers. However, as we've been doing our work over the years, we've seen that this demand for technical talent is actually something that exists throughout the United States. And we have had a couple of different people in North America indicate that this is a problem in Canada as well. as in Mexico and in South America. So there's massive, massive opportunity for some type of non-traditional education model that will solve this demand. So, what is it that Sabio is been able to do? This is very prescient. Most of us are home right now because of this global pandemic. And we are very excited to indicate that on March 15th, when the governor of California indicated that we all had to work from home, we had a pretty seamless transition. Our instructors simply took their machine, headed home, and got right to work. Okay, so we have senior instructors that have been trained and that understand that they need to deliver high quality instruction, whether they're in our classroom physically or they're working remotely. Okay, this also allows us to serve people anywhere. We do focus mostly on North American customers. However, we do work with the Veterans Administration, and some veterans live offshore. Those people are also able to train via the beauty of the internet and sophisticated online platforms like Zoom and Slack. And we harness all of that. Okay. As a result of that, we are able to create a tight knit community that allows students to feel confident and competent about their skills that will allow them to go out, interview, and get placed. This is a very important thing. If you read some of the local headlines right now, students that are attending college are very upset because their teachers really and their instructors really are not prepared for this new modality of learning. Our instructors, we made the shift to go online in September of 2019, and we had blended classrooms where our instructors had students in front of them. They also had students offline. And therefore, when we had to make the shift to be 100% remote, our instructors and our students already had received a taste of that. And we've had very little, if any, drop off because of this transition to 100% virtual learning. This also allows us to have some savings. We are going to go ahead and make some reductions in real estate cost, which we can then deploy to improve the product and or to help drive growth. So it's important for us to address how the COVID pandemic is impacting us right at the top of the hour, at the 15 minutes. A little bit more about myself. As I mentioned, I'm Liliana. I lead this organization alongside my husband, Gregorio. He and I have been doing this work for the past 7 years. We're exceptionally passionate about helping people develop skills that we know are in massive demand. He and I started this with our own personal savings. We have committed 100% of our time and our energy to make sure that we provide an exceptional learning opportunity, that we give people support so that they can thrive as soon as they graduate from the cohort. It's there's pluses and minuses to this. We do have a family, and our children are sometimes like they will make fun of us and say nothing but Sabio, 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 because they understand that we're exceptionally dedicated to this work. But when we see a life completely transformed, we know that we're doing work that matters. So I will go in a little bit more into the solution. As you can see here, here's an example of how our senior instructor will be on live with students going over technical concepts. We have lots of different ways that people can train with us. You can be, as I mentioned, in person whenever that's allowed again. You can be located anywhere in the world as long as you're connected to the internet. Um, we have various affordable programs. Tuition is $15,000, whether you're with us for 3 months or 6 months. However, there are various payment programs that would allow this program to be accessible to many people. And we have very strong economics. Students who graduate from the program make an average income of $72,000, and they are increasing their wages by 45%, which is very, very, very significant. Over the past 7 years, we've had the privilege of working with students that go on to work at amazing tech companies throughout the United States. We're looking forward to having this list of exceptional tech companies continue to grow. Every year, we make a big effort to go out into the local tech community and forge relationships so that we can build a very seamless experience from our graduating students onto exceptional tech companies that are driving today's economy. If you think about coding bootcamps in general, there's a massive opportunity here. There's an estimate that the global coding bootcamp space is about 890 million, which is close to $1 billion opportunity. There's also a massive opportunity in online coding bootcamps. So as I mentioned, we did start as a brick and mortar operation, but we have made the transition over the last 7 years to be 100% online. And we've been able to experience growth because of that, and we're excited to continue that dynamic over the years as we make ourselves not only online, but then also 100% self-paced, which will give us an opportunity to even more students. So here's some of our economics. As you can see, we've experienced significant growth over the past 7 years. We have been able to work with the Veteran Administration, which services military veterans, that we're seeing a lot of growth from, which is exciting. We are also now trying to transition the brand to make sure that people know if you're in New York, if you're in Austin, you can become a Sabio Fellow, because Sabio was more of a Southern California regional brand because we had 3 locations. And so we're looking forward to expand that and to make people aware that if you are in Austin, if you are in Chicago, all you have to do is, strap on your headset, log on to your computer, and go ahead and become a Sabio Fellow. We are also working, as I mentioned, with some new pricing schemes that would allow our tuition to become more approachable and comfortable for all kinds of students. And we are also actively forging relationships with some university partners that don't have these accelerated technical training certificates. We are also halfway through our accreditation process. Sabio, I believe, might be one of the very few coding bootcamps that will be accredited, and we anticipate that towards the end of the year. Once we receive accreditation, we're also able to secure federal and state financial aid for our students, which will be a big win for them. Here's our financial data. You can see, obviously, we didn't draw this out, but in 2013 there was zero income, right? Zero investment, 100% bootstrapped, everything revenue based. Grinding to enroll students, to provide exceptional service, so that they can provide referrals, so that we can get good references, training staff. And so all of this growth that you've seen here has been 100% organic, based on the work of the 2 founders and the team members. We're coming to you today because we're looking to grow our organization. We understand that the funds that we raise will be used primarily to make the brand a national online brand. Lots of people are like, yes, Sabio is great, but I don't live in LA, or I can't move to LA. So we have to do some work to get out there and to help people understand that you can become a Sabio Fellow from anywhere in North America or South America if you're willing to work on Pacific Standard Time. We will continue to invest some of the funds as well in remote instruction, so that we can have additional resources and make the experience for our students exceptional. And we also do need some of the funds to finalize our accreditation process. It is quite a hurdle that you have to jump to make sure that you can get all the documentation, all the processes in place in order for the Department of Education to then allow you to start offering federal and state financial aid. And we are also looking to make some investment in, fine-tuning the curriculum. And as technology is constantly changing, there's always an opportunity to improve things. And then also just improve our own internal processes, so that as leads come in, we can properly service them and be very efficient. So Sabio exists to train highly motivated individuals to enter the tech sector, so that they can participate in today's lucrative innovation economy. It's been an absolute pleasure to do this live stream. I appreciate you listening to me. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm active on Twitter and LinkedIn, and I welcome any questions you may have for me.
Wonderful, Liliana, and you have an evident unfair advantage and being very accustomed in doing similar things to this. So rather than talking about coding in front of a camera or any other subject, you are talking about your own startup and your own pitch, but you are good at it.
Thank you. You're very kind.
All right. Now, let me be less kind and
Hmm.
give you some nasty questions. Um, and I have several. Let's
Hmm.
start with the issue of what you deliver. Um,
Okay.
Apart from the brand and, of course, the need, which is evident, um, what is in what you do that represents a sustainable competitive advantage against everybody else that is now scrambling to do something similar in terms of delivering online training?
So, what we deliver to our customer is an absolute unique and exceptional educational training experience. And let me give you a tiny example of what that means. When you are going out and you're learning to code, there's all of these abstract concepts. Okay. And so that creates a small challenge for our students. 3 years ago, we sat down and we said, okay, people are having a hard time visualizing the code that they're writing. What can we do to solve this? A couple of instructors went away and they created a graph viewer. That's what we call it. It's our own internal IP. And what it does is that as students are writing code, it's actually creating a visualization, a dynamic real time visualization of what they're doing. And this is IP that we own, that we introduce to the students' learning experience early on. And so that's the perfect example of how, throughout the entire cycle of learning how to code, learning how to be professional, and then learning how to interview, we have our own IP that we've developed and designed to solve students' problems.
Okay, very good and fair. Is that protected by copyright, or you can also patent the process of introducing the learning modules through this graph visualization?
Yes, I'm sure that a lot of this stuff can definitely be patented. Also, it's about iterating, right? So the graph right now exists. We have to continue to improve it so that if someone does want to copy it, it's still going to be more sophisticated, more robust, and more solving people's solutions. So we have 800 students that have gone through our program. We have 800 data points of where students get stuck. So we always have to kind of be ahead of the curve in solving student solutions.
Um, is the accreditation going to slow down the speed with which you necessarily want to adapt to the changing curriculum or syllabus or methodology itself? Because you may want to change more than the narrow limits of the accreditation allow you to.
So I see accreditation as something that creates kind of like additional accountability for us and our students. So at one point in time, we were doing mock interviews, but we weren't grading them. Then came in the accreditor and said, hey, we need some kind of way for you to prove that students are meeting milestones. So then what we were already doing, we then said, okay, then now we're going to grade them, right? We put them in paper. Now we have a transcript. So the accreditation process, it's like a 3-year process. We're halfway into it, has actually allowed us to create additional accountability for us to our students. It is not something that's going to weigh us down. I'm bilingual. I know how to Spanish. I know how to speak English. I know how to speak Spanish. The accreditation process, I see it as the same way. You can be an amazing, exceptional, lean startup and go fast and do things. But at the same time, you have to think, okay, well, how is a regulator going to see this? And let's make sure we set up the systems in place to make sure that when a regulator comes in, we have it documented. And that will help us there as well. So it's not we're already doing exceptional work. It's about documenting the work that we're doing for the accreditor.
So what is the traction that you have, and how much of your past traction on your various physical locations you were able to translate into online traction?
So our, every single student that's ever graduated from our program is still with us online. They still have access to our learning management system. They're still a member of the Sabio community on Slack. Therefore, whenever they're like, "Hey, I have a friend that's interested in coding," they can very easily get their friends on ramped, and so this will help us continue to grow through referrals. All of the reviews that we had on review sites from our brick and mortar operation are surviving and are going to stay on, so that people who want to learn with us in online can see, oh, these people know what they're doing. They've been around for a really long time. They're a reputable organization, and this will help them feel more confident joining an online coding bootcamp that has a long history and track record. So I think we're going to totally leverage that.
How do you measure the engagement of the students in the online curriculum? Traditionally, online learning has been seen as over-promising and under-delivering in its ability to get people engaged, especially over the course of an extended period of time.
Right. So because we have this beautiful driver at the end of our process, which is you're going to get a lucrative job in tech, and it's a finite period, right? People know I'm here at Sabio for 3 months, for 6 months, for 9 months, and at the end I need to get a job. Um, we measure engagement daily. We're able to go in there and see how many active students we have. We can know how many lectures have been completed. We get emails when a test is passed. And when we see a student in engagement drop off, we programmatically can ping them and say, hey, we haven't seen you here for 2 weeks. Are you still a student, or do you need assistance? Do you need to do a one-on-one session with someone? So programmatically, because they're doing all the work online, it's actually very easy for us to know who's engaged, who's not, and then we can either defer people or expel them if they're not engaging.
Um, the self serve platforms
Hmm.
suppose that students that are engaged can progress on their own, but you and I know that the human touch is very important. However, it is also a limiting factor because you want to keep the proportion between instructors and students at a manageable level. What kind of train the trainer programs do you have in place, especially now, where you can find instructors that are not only in LA, but the instructors themselves can be literally anywhere in the world, as long as they are ready to teach in Pacific uh, time zones?
Right. So we have 7 years of experience of taking exceptional technical professionals and turning them into fantastic teachers. And so, just like we have a learning management system and protocols for our students, we have another little Bible and classes for people that are going to become Sabio instructors, either on a part time basis or a full time basis. We've done that with probably 20 individuals over the past 7 years. So, all of that exists in our instructor wiki. And we are able to very easily onboard additional technical talent and convert them to instructors as we experience significant growth. We've done that before.
Um, it is a detour that we don't want to take right now, but if your ability to engage students, train trainers, and the other things that you described, including the proprietary graph approach, that could have been good to show on your slides as well, at least a
Thank you
glimpse
for that feedback.
of what it is. If all of this is so good and unique, then I wonder if an additional revenue line could be teaching your own methodology to institutions that may not be ready to become Sabio partners themselves, but they are extremely thirsty for proven approaches that work, and they are unsure whether they can develop it by themselves. So licensing your entire methodology for something different in terms of content could be a good revenue line. And that wasn't a question, but just it came into my mind.
Yes, thank you for that feedback.
Let me go to a separate section of our Q&A. How much did you guys invest in the platform and in your organization over the years as a ballpark amount of money?
That's a math equation. So we've never taken on any debt. We started 100% bootstrap with, a $500 investment to rent a room. We've generated cumulatively $10 million over the 7 years we've operated. And so everything has gone back into wages, salaries, purchasing equipment.
Okay,
So it's a
and
math equation I'd have to run, but
that's fine. And how much are you raising now?
currently we're looking to raise in our first seed round or pre-seed round approximately $1 million. We feel that that's what's needed to make us a national brand.
And I would assume that you are looking forward to do that on a convertible basis rather than expecting to be able to give a value to the company at
Correct.
this stage.
Right. We're comfortable with that.
And did you look at various instruments, whether you want a traditional convertible promissory note or you want a safe? And if the first, what would be the cap and things like that, or you didn't yet negotiate those components?
I think we definitely would be very comfortable with a safe, for sure. And the actual cap, I don't think we've done that exact calculation, right, Emmanuel? We don't have that publicly yet.
Yeah,
The
no,
cap for a safe.
we're talking to a few VCs, so we're kind of letting see who wants to lead around, and then we're open to negotiating with them. But we don't want to put out a price ourselves. We'd rather see what the demand in the market is.
That's fair. That's fair. And of course, the way that you conduct that negotiation, then whoever is leading will get into a deeper due diligence with you, and also
That's right.
hopefully help you syndicate the deal in their own network of investors.
Correct.
Do you have anything in mind in terms of the minimum or the maximum of the round? Would you be comfortable with somebody coming and saying, "I want to take it all," or what's your attitude around that?
Yeah, we're comfortable with having one counterparty that wants to take the whole round. We've Liliana and Gregorio have built this from scratch and have done it without any investor. So one incremental investor we're fine with. But if we have other folks or some strong angels that have just kind of been our advisors over time, we're open to that as well.
So I don't know when you started the fundraising, but have you had the chance of already soft circling some amount? What is the feedback that you have received on up to now?
So we just started 2 weeks
Brand
ago. Less than 2 weeks ago. Yeah, we're doing. We know investors over the years. Liliana and Gregorio have actually said no to a number of investors over the years. But I think right now, given COVID-19, given that we're actually seeing growth through COVID-19, we thought, why not put a prettier deck together to show our VCs and see who's willing to partner with us now. We just think it's an amazing opportunity to grow, given what you articulated, David, in that all these higher education institutions are not equipped to deal with this pandemic. So at minimum, Sabio can feel a need that today is needed, and obviously a market that has secular tailwinds behind it.
Wonderful. And Claudia, what is your role in Sabio?
Hi everyone, I'm currently the head of growth. I'm helping with the customer acquisition, marketing, and the company fundraise.
Wonderful. It is great to see such a wonderful team, Liliana. Thank you very much for being with us on Network Society Ventures Pitching Live today.
Thank you for having us, and I would like to congratulate you on this exceptionally innovative way of pitching. It's really fun.
Thank you very much. So thank you everybody for being here on Network Society Ventures Pitching Live. Are you a startup with a great pitch? Are you an accelerator or an incubator? Maybe you are graduating your latest cohort and you want to send them out into the wild world of fundraising because you believe they are ready. We want to hear from you. You can go directly to the website pitching.live in order to sign up as a candidate for one of our next pitching sessions. So thank you everybody for being here today, and I'm looking forward to our next pitching session with the next wonderful startup, as it has been today with Liliana at Sabio.